Welcome to Bourgeois, where we take a few moments to look at beautiful places, people, and things. Today, I am so delighted to have as my guest, Mark Kitaoka. Kitaoka.
There you go.
Oh, I had it so perfect. Thank you for that, Mark. Kitaoka. Mark Kitaoka. Mark is a master at capturing images through photography. I have seen some of his work as I've shared with you on the slide presentation, and it is incredible on how he can pull things out of people, places, and things. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So just so you know, the word Kitaoka means North Mountain.
North Mountain.
Kitaoka.
Kitaoka.
That's what my name means. So you're a half-sister now.
Okay, thank you. Well, Mark, as the images were showing at the opening of this program, I'm sure that the audience caught something that they connected with. And one of the things for me is I saw some work that you did with water. What is this thing that you have with water?
It's not just water. So the thing I love is organic movement. If I could get something that I could put in the air, that whenever you move, we breathe, you could see it, I'd do that. But the only things I can find that you can actually use like that would be toxic to humans, and people would die.
Okay.
So a friend of mine and I talked, 3 years ago up in Seattle about doing a dance shoot. They're professional tango dancers.
Okay.
I met them back in 2007. They were in Luis Bravo's Forever Tango. I saw the show. My friend was the general manager of Post Street Theater at the time. And I asked her for another ticket for the next day. And she said, "Oh, you really liked it that much?" I said, "Yeah, I did. And what I want to do is I want to sit in my seat and bring my camera and photograph the show." And yeah, she did just what you did.
She laughed.
And she laughed. She goes, "Well, you can't do that. Judy, my house manager, will throw you out immediately." I said, "Okay." So I really wanted to shoot the show because the star of the show, Ava, who was a blonde at that time, it's just stunning.
Oh.
Captivatingly stunning.
Tango dancers usually are, right?
Geez,
Yeah,
I mean, I almost wet my pants when I saw her.
Oh, well.
So she said, "Well, you need to talk to the actual producer of the show, Luis, and see what he says." So I took a book I had done a long time ago called Moments of Humanity. And he looked through the book and he said, "Well, Mark, you could shoot all the shows and you could go wherever you want. You could go on stage. You could do whatever you want." Anyway, I shot that show. To date, it's the hardest shooting I've ever done because at Post Street, to get on the stage, you had to go downstairs, up 3 flights, and then down to the stage. So I was in the wings, I was in the house, I was backstage. It was terrible physically. I didn't know how I was going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, about, 5 years later, 6 years later, I became friends with Ava, who's now a brunette, and her husband, Patricio.
Okay.
And we were in Seattle one day, and he said, "Mark, I really want to do a project with you. I like your photography. Wow. Ava feels comfortable with you. I feel, let's do something." So I started thinking about this organic movement. And I said...
I love the term organic, by the way.
Well,
I mean, it's just so
anything
California.
that's organic,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just California.
Okay.
I don't eat granola or quinoa. In fact, I hate it. My girlfriend loves it, and we just don't eat together on that. So what happened was we started talking, just in this park, talking. And I told him this story about smoke and air movement and how I would really like that, but, there's really nothing that a human can breathe that would show on film that would be good for your lungs.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I said, "How do you feel about doing tango in water?" And he said, in his little oh, Argentinian accent. That sounds great.
Okay.
So that was a year, almost 14 months it took planning. Yeah,
Wow.
because here's the thing. Water, well, there's several things. How do you contain water? How do you contain it so that tango dancers can dance in it and not slide,
Right.
right? That's a big deal.
So safety.
Where do you do
mhm,
it?
mhm.
Who's going to let you bring enough water into a studio to do this kind of thing? And then how do I contain the water? A lot of questions. Plus it's cold. So one of Pato's friends was in construction and he said, hey Mark, why don't you use a construction berm? I said, well, what the hell is that? He said, well, have you ever been to an oil refinery and seen tanks and then they have these things around tanks for oil that contain it if the vessel breaks?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Those are
I've
containment
seen those.
berms.
Okay.
And they make them for construction. And I happen to have one
No.
that you can rent or borrow. No problem.
Wow, meant to be.
Meant to be. So Patricio had just purchased or rented a studio in Seattle. It was 20 by 20, little bitty actually, because he also does teaching. We put the berm in, and now we have to figure out how to get the water
In a dance studio.
in a dance studio
Okay.
with hardwood floor.
Oh. Oh.
And the closest water was probably 50 yards away. There's a bathroom. So I had to run a hose, fill it up. Anyway, what I discovered is as we started to move through the water, because tango's all about those beautiful foot flicks,
Yes.
the water sprayed beautifully. Except that we're used to shooting dancers all the time. And the way we try and always get dancers is right at their apex, whether it's ballet, Latin ballroom, doesn't matter. The most dramatic shots are always done at the apex. The problem I didn't know until I actually tried is when a dancer reaches their apex, the water has nothing to hold on to. So there's no water trail. Anyway, so we got the shots. It was all done. The little room, since it was in December in Seattle, it was cold, so we had to crank up the heat to 95. I felt like I wanted to get naked. So finally, after they had done this clothed, I said, okay, you guys, let's do this naked.
Really?
Yep. So Pato and Ava got naked, and probably to date, those are the dance shots I'm most proud of.
So nude tango dancing in the water.
Yep.
Wow.
And I don't
We
know
didn't
if
show those images, but I imagine it's beautiful. I
They're-
imagine it's just beautiful.
they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Wow. That took some engineering as well.
Yeah.
Do you have a background in engineering?
No, although my mother would hope that one day I'll come to my senses and either be an engineer,
Okay.
an accountant,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay.
A lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Because for Japanese folks, it's okay to do artistic stuff to go to college.
Right.
But if you want to do it for a living,
Get a real job.
Yeah, get a
right?
real job.
Get a real job. Oh, you forgot doctor, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
doctor.
Okay.
So anyway, my dad was a civil engineer,
Okay.
but it has nothing to do with what I do. So from that water, I just loved it. I love the organic movement of water, how people feel when they're dancing or running in water. So the next project was Tracy and I shoot every year for San Mateo High School, Robin Trabuzzi's dance group.
Oh, okay. So you do high school and professional?
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
We also do Oakland School of the Arts, which is a private school, which probably has some of the finest dancers we've ever worked with.
Wow.
Amazing dancers. And it's all because of Reginald Savage.
That's quite a compliment.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's a real hard ass. So anyway, we picked out some people from Robin's group, handpicked them, and I wanted to do a water thing with them. Not nude, they're only high school kids.
Yes, thank you.
But I also didn't want to go through all the logistics it took to do the tango shoot. So we went to their pool, and it was summertime or close to summer, I can't remember. Put a black backdrop up, lights and had the girls fling or get into position in water, and they came out great too.
Wow. Wow.
So the organic movement, the organic feel, the next project with Patricio Neva is to go out to the Mojave Desert because the scenery there is beautiful.
Oh, the colors. Yes.
It's just beautiful. And do smoke and fire and tango, nude again.
Wow. Wow.
So that's our upcoming project, and that planning has taken 2 years. First of all, because Ava had her second child.
Oh.
And she's still
In
got a
between the
body.
tango dancing.
She's still got a body
Oh,
you can't believe. It's
Isn't that
crazy.
wonderful?
And she's way too nice to be that good looking.
Wow.
So anyway, so
That makes it a lot more fun.
yeah, it is. And she can eat whatever she wants. Patricio's the guy that has to watch what he eats.
Oh, okay.
So the whole thing about that organic movement, yeah, I'm kind of addicted to it.
Okay.
It's difficult. And one of the things I use for theater people, we just got done doing an on-location shoot for Fifth Avenue Theater on Assassins. It's a musical play
Okay.
about anybody who has attempted or has successfully assassinated a president.
Wow. So is it about the presidents or the actual assassin?
It's about the assassins.
Oh, wow.
Hinckley,
Interesting.
Boo, all of them. And the PR woman called me one day and said, hey, Mark, we want to do a shoot for Assassins. And guess what? You get to do it on location, which is my favorite.
Okay.
Most people want it in front of Seamless, and then they drop graphics onto it, which is great. But my juices really get flowing when I get to go on location.
Okay.
There's always restrictions because it's a union shop. There's a ton of people that are involved. So I could only use the back alley behind the theater. That was it.
Really?
Yep, 2 hours to shoot, 7 people plus their group shot. It came out to 20 minutes a person.
Wow.
And I had to make every scene look different in the same space. So
in 2 hours?
In 2 hours.
Okay.
So Tracy and I took up my smoke machine. She thinks I'm crazy because I buy all this stuff. I asked the theater, can I use your smoke machine? You due to union rules? No. So we had to pack it and bring it up. But adding atmosphere to any shoot, whether it's smoke, water, there's a quality that happens that you can't explain. You can feel it when you look at the image. I love organic movement. I just love it. I don't see it used a lot either. And that's the other thing that really floats my boat. I like to do things I don't see other people doing.
Okay. So are you not doing portraits? Is it all theater and dance, or?
No, I still do portraiture.
Okay.
But the thing about portraiture I've moved away from is I still do classic portraits, what you would consider classic. Waist up, just your face, maybe full body. But the people I admire in photography now do more shots that have portraits that have context.
Okay.
Greg Heisler, who I highly respect, did a portrait of the mayor of New York. He didn't just do a headshot. He put the guy on a skyscraper at night with the city as a backdrop. It's just stunning. It says more about Rudy than just a face shot.
Thank you. I was going to ask you, which mayor did he shoot?
Giuliani.
Okay. Giuliani.
It's to date, it's still one of my favorite portraits, a formal portrait, I should say. Another guy I really admire is a young kid, Joey Lawrence. He does a lot of commercial work, but his personal work and his portraits always have context in it. Because my belief now is, sure, it's easier to do chest up, tight shot, but it says much more about the person when you put them in the context of who they are or what their job has been. Regardless if it's a classic portrait or an environmental portrait, My job is to bring out who you are. Not just what you look like,
Yes.
but who
yes.
you are. And I think that's the difference between a good photographer and a great photographer. I was lucky enough to be able to study with Greg Gorman for a week, who's photographed everybody. Sophia Loren, everybody. And I went to him to learn about how to use light. And one of the things that was really funny is when I first took his week-long class, he goes around the room, says, "What do you guys want?" And everyone kind of says the same thing. "I want to take a great shot, blah, blah, blah."
And you have him for a week?
A whole week.
Okay.
And it was during the height of the recession, so the class was really small.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. There were only 5 people. And he has a maximum of 15 people. So it was great.
Yes.
So he said, "So Mark, what do you want?" I was last. I said, I want to learn, and I really don't want you to blow sunshine up my ass. If my shot is crummy, I don't want you to tell me it's nice.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I want you to tell me that's a crap shot, and here's why. And he kind of looked at me. He said, "All right, you asked for it." And so throughout the week, and he told me in private that if I say your shot is nice in front of the other students, it means it's shit.
Oh, okay.
So Mark, if
what
I
a
say
nice
to you,
approach.
if I say to you, "Oh, that's a nice shot." So when I was there and I was shooting, he would look at me, he goes, "Oh, that's a nice shot." And I would just be devastated. I didn't let anyone know what the code word was, but I would hear him say to other people in a very nice tone, "Oh, Twila, that's a nice shot." And I would chuckle because I knew what that meant.
So there was crap on the room,
There was
right?
crap everywhere. I think during that week-long class, he said to me twice, "That's a great shot." And I almost choked.
Twice as good, right?
Twice as heaven.
Right. Okay. With the master.
So anyway, he's the one that taught me not only to use light, but there should always be context. And I would say to him, "Well, I look at your shots, they're like shoulder up headshots. You don't ever use context, so what kind of crap is that you're trying to give me?" And he would say to me, "Look at the picture. Is it just the person's face, or can you tell something about them by looking at that portrait?"
That makes a difference.
And I thought, I better shut up, because his shots, you can tell something about the person.
And how many years ago was that you took his class?
2010.
Okay.
Yeah, right around there.
So a good 6 years ago. The images that were shown at the beginning of the show, you really do capture who the person is.
It's interesting because the pictures you show at the beginning of the show aren't my pictures per se. They're pictures of people I've worked with. I don't believe you've actually shown pictures of my work. It's really who I work with. And the
in
reason,
the slideshow,
Yeah.
I'm mixing that
That's
up
all right.
with ones I've seen personally.
the reason I wanted those pictures to appear is, and I've said this all along, and it's very true, the only reason I really like photography is I get to meet people.
Ah,
It's the biggest
you and your
excuse
camera.
in the world.
Okay.
You want to know how that started?
Yeah, I do. That
In
was
high school.
That was my next
In high
question.
school.
Okay, tell us about that.
So I told you before we went on air, I grew up in an all-black area and then an all-white area.
So Crenshaw
Crenshaw and Anaheim.
and Anaheim.
The OC.
Woo.
The OC. So I was the Chinaman in both Crenshaw and Anaheim.
And you're
even though I'm Japanese. The brothers call me Chinaman, the white guys call me Chinaman. So, and I couldn't really date anybody,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
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 So I found out I like
Then.
taking pictures.
Yeah.
No. I had a little Minolta, and I did black and white film, and I used to develop my film in my little bathroom. I'd put tinfoil up on the windows.
Oh, those were the days.
That was fun. Yeah. But what was the bigger lesson is I learned that women love to be photographed.
Is that right?
Vanity
you
has
found your
no
way in.
limits. No limits. So I would ask girls if they wanted to have their picture taken.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And of course, they did.
Yes. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so that was my foray. And then as I started to photograph them beyond at least getting a date,
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the interaction of directing them or talking to them and bringing out more than what I call the Thanksgiving smile, the say cheese.
Okay.
And I think that's how it began. And then, of course, I had a big break in no photography.
And what were you doing then?
I was dating and racing motorcycles.
Oh, okay.
Dad was really smart. He knew that at some point, girls would start to ruin or rule my thoughts
Yes.
and my loins.
Yes, yes.
So what he did is he started me racing motocross
Nice.
and
In the OC.
in the OC.
Okay.
And it was great. So I would have to earn money because I'd always break stuff. And on the weekends, I'm always racing.
Nice.
So it kept me occupied. So there was a long period of time where no photography.
Okay.
And then I had children, and my daughter wanted to be in theater, but not in front of the curtain.
Oh,
She wanted to be stage manager.
nice.
So as a good dad, I'm thinking, well, I can take pictures of my daughter doing this. So I went on eBay, I bought a little Casio point and shoot, and I would go to all the rehearsals and stuff, and every time I pointed my camera at my daughter, Dad,
That's
stop
about
it.
right. That's about right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just not cool.
yeah.
So I'm stubborn. So I thought, fine. So I photographed all her friends,
Oh,
everybody else that was working around.
and they loved it.
Oh, they loved it.
Oh, yeah.
And one day I'm sitting at the computer in the little living room, and I can feel her looking over my shoulder, and she just says in this little voice, how come there's no pictures of me? I said, do you remember this? So she said, okay, you could take pictures of me.
Oh, and she photographs lovely.
She's my daughter. I can't really say.
She does. I'll vouch for it.
All right.
Yeah.
So one day, you know, I was photographing different things, and one day the photographer for her high school said, oh my God, Mark, our photographer didn't show up. And it's the final,
way.
final thing. It's our final performance. Can you photograph for us? And I said, wow, okay, but they're probably going to come out crummy.
With your point and shoot?
Yeah, a little
Oh,
Casio point and
wow,
shoot.
they were desperate.
They were desperate.
But that was good for you.
I guess, because after that, Rebecca said, oh, well, can you shoot for us from now on?
Wow, wow.
I said, yeah, okay. And so I just started shooting theater.
Wow.
And I really liked it. I loved it, as a matter of fact. Anyway, from the Louis Bravo shoot I did, a professional PR woman, they came back into town and she said, they would like to use your photograph for their promotional purposes. How much would you charge? I just thought, what?
I'm going to get paid.
I'm going to get paid?
I'm going to get paid. Yeah, yeah.
And I came up with the price. You know, I had a regular good paying day job.
Mm-hmm.
They said, perfect. And I thought, oh, I didn't charge enough.
Way too low.
I know. Anyways, so they used that. Then I got another gig with a professional theater company. And that's kind of how the ball got started.
I think that's fabulous. And you've been doing it ever since?
Well, I was moonlighting
Oh,
because I had a corporate day job at the
Okay.
time. So this was my fun money moonlighting thing. And then I got laid off.
oh. You know, sometimes
laid
those
off.
layoffs are
March
blessings in
11th,
disguise.
2011. Don't ask me how
You
I know
remember
that date.
Yeah, because it's an important date.
It is.
It's time for a change.
So it was a Monday. I came home and said to Tracy, she says, what are you doing home? And I said, I got laid off today. She said, what? I said, I got laid off today. And so I said to her, I can go get on monster.com, I can search Craigslist. I can go and sit in front of a 30-year-old kid in an interview who would ask me, so what's your 5-year plan, Mark? And I would say, you know what? Go screw yourself. Your 5-year plan I did when you were 3. Or, since I had 38 years of corporate experience and lots of biz dev, I can man up and do what I love to do. That's what happened.
And you haven't looked back. Good for you.
No.
Good for you. Thanks for sharing that. That might encourage someone that's watching the show today.
The guys that were on my team, because I was not allowed to talk to anybody the day they let me go.
It's usually how it works.
Yeah.
They walk you out?
Yeah, they walked me out. They said to me, and they were pretty sage about it. They said, you know, you've been doing this moonlighting thing for almost 3 years now. And we always said to you, why don't you just do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always had the same excuse. Well, I got a good paying job, blah, 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 blah. And what they said to me is, the universe did for you what you wouldn't do for yourself.
That's it. Well put.
Yeah.
Well put. So, Mark, if someone like myself wanted to have some photographs done and wanted a creative mind like you, how could we become your client?
Well, we're assuming you're not an individual, right? That you're a company or something like
No,
that.
I'm just an individual. I mean, I want some creative family photos. Would you do that? Yes or no?
So, probably not.
Oh.
And here's why. I used to do those. I had a guy come to me. He wanted family photos.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he had looked at some of my work and he felt I would do the style that he liked. So I said, well, okay.
Gonna have to go. Mm-hmm.
Here are some of my ideas. Like, I want you to stand in front of this concrete wall with your hands over your ears, and I want your whole family, you and your wife and 2 kids, to yell at you. And
That
I'll
won't
take
work.
that.
Yeah.
And it came
Yeah.
out great.
Oh, well, Mark, you know what? Time really does fly when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
And I want to thank our viewing audience for joining us on Bourgeois. Until next time, have a great day. And that was it.
How long was that?